everybody. My name is Tommy, and today we're going to learn about technology. It's a very hard word, but as you listen through this lesson, then you will know how to spell technology, how to read technology, and what is technology, and what can technology do for our lives. So today we're gonna start with lesson 1. Lesson 1 and unit 1 of the book Big Science 2. I also have Big Science 1, but it's for the next lesson. So today we're mainly talking about technology, what it can do for us, such as solving problems or staying safe, and we're gonna learn about what is technology and what it can do. So this is what is technology. Now, are you ready? Let's get started. Technology is using science to help us solve problems. So technology is using science to help us solve problems. and then we also have, this is a very cool thing about technology. Sometimes scientists use technologies to make new discoveries, and the opposite meaning is sometimes scientists sometimes scientists use their discoveries or discover new technologies. So sometimes they discover new technologies. So here we have the 1870 first bicycle. So it helps us solve this problem. If we say we walk so far and it's not very refreshing, we can get this bike. That bike is a technology that will help us. Now, what about the telephone? If you want to call someone, there's no cell phone, radio, internet. You can use the telephone. The telephone is like a big wire that goes through the wall underground, and the wire reaches to another person's house, and another, and another, and another. So they can do that just to make it. So and then what about the computer? The computer is very good for our lives. The computer helps us to type and search things on Google. But actually the word Google, Google, it was named accidentally. It was supposed to be Googol. That's the real name. They search google.com instead of google.com. So that's why Google was named accidentally. Even the accident was on my computer. My computer has the word Google. But when I search Google, it has nothing to do with me. So that's why you can tell it apart from Google and Google. Google. That's the difference. The difference is LE, and the difference of Google and Google is LE, and the difference of Google and Google is OL. So there are two differences. So now, as you know, Now, let us talk about the next one. In the next one, we're gonna talk about how technology can help us solve problems. How technology can help us solve problems, finally. How technology can help us solve problems. So, for example, technology helps us solve many different kinds of problems, such as the internet problem, the radio problem, every type of problem. But the most important problem is to communicate with people. To communicate with people is very interesting because we can call people even though we don't see the wire going down the ground, going through the wall, we can see going to the wire, going to the other house, other house, such as this is your house, for example, and this is your telephone. Then it will go in here, go through the wall. It just moves on until it reaches another person's house. This is the other one's house. Your house is in front of their house. So, as you know, that's how we explain that of the telephone. So the first problem is we can't communicate with each other. And then the solution of it is we can use a telephone to call people. This is an interesting problem. Here we have a broken stapler. And what about this? Here we have a broken stapler. See, it's cracked and clumsy. First we can fix it, but it still falls apart. We can finish fixing it. We can ask some people to hold it, and then we can use our tape to tape it. Then we can just get out the tape of the parts that do not need to be taped. So the solution is taping. So there is one thing what technology can do. It can help us solve problems if our stapler is broken, or we can communicate. We can search YouTube, and the solution is Google, tape, and telephone. So that's how we explain of how it can solve our problems. Now let's see how it can keep us safe. So, for example, here is this is just like a mayor's car. Inside there's the driver. If you look closely, here's the driver's head, here's the driver's body. One hand is out, one hand is in. But what is this green thing? This green thing is a seat belt. A seat belt is used to protect drivers from car damages. Excuse me. So, we can protect the driver from car damages. Now, let's see. Let's look at this thing. So, now, do you know that sometimes technology can even make us safe? For example, a car can make us move from one place to another. So now you can also say that airbags and seat belts help the car be safe. As you know, safety seats. What are safety seats? Seats that are safety. Safety seats are also provided so children wouldn't get harmed or hurt when they crash into a car. Then they will know who is the suspects. So now, as you know, for example, if you're walking down the street, if you're driving down the street, your eyes keeping in the front, but one man was also driving, but he was driving and chatting to his wife. So now when they crashed into each other, it was the man who was chatting was the one who lied or the suspect. There are many criminal suspects that need to be wanted to be arrested. So there are many types of criminals. So let's actually just move on to seeing what even more about what technology can do. Technology can let us watch the TV. If we have the TV and then we do not have the technology of wires, so we cannot watch TV. So the technology of wires, so when wires appeared, we can watch TVs. So the wires and the plugs are technologies, such as the wires that use to charge cell phones by now. Those are technologies. Actually, we have them 60 or maybe 40 years ago. It was a long time that we had the cell phones, and it was in 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Then there were actually even more types of phones. There can be the radio is a type of phone. We can talk to such as we have a phone. We can click on the micro button and we can say something and give it to them. That's one way we can communicate by radio. We can also communicate by cell phone. We can just like beep 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 their numbers on the telephone, and then we press call and we wait them to answer. Then after that, we can also use cell phones to communicate. You can go into Facebook, Zello, or even Messenger, and then you can push into the button that's called for them to see their faces or not see their faces. You can press into any button, but you can communicate with that way if you use a cell phone. But if a telephone, you just need to type their phone number and then you can call them straight away. That's a faster but more dumb type of phone. It's very dumb. Do you know why? We can only call with it. We can't play games with it. Now, as the technology of the cell phone appeared, then we can play games, watch YouTube, call, and even print. Last time we didn't have the computers, we didn't have these new iron speakers, we had dumb speakers, and we have dumb computers, dumb printers, and even dumb chairs. Those chairs are only made out of wood, cotton, and even sometimes blankets, or even broken pieces of glass. So a long time ago, many people died and many people suffered. They suffered because there were no things that were very good to their lives. So now, as we have these technologies such as TVs, wires, books, plants, new radios, a new size of football, we have a new table. Nowadays, we also use things to make wood, but they were not as dumb as usual. This time, we used a saw or a drilling machine, a sawing machine, to saw them into thick but curved parts. Last time, we only have straight parts and we need to fix them together with nails. But in these things, we can only use a little bit of nails, but more technology. So, as you know, technology is very useful to us. It's very useful to us with many different types of things, like helping us solve problems, helping us see what is technology, and helps us stay safe. So remember these things. What is technology? Technology is the thing that helps you solve problems where you're in a big trouble. And it can also help you solve even more problems. You can use it to solve even more problems because those problems can be really hard to you. So you need those things like technology to solve problems, such as technology could help you, as you know. Technology can help you solve things such as communicating or many others. With communicating, you can communicate to other people using technology, using the cell phone, telephone, or even the radio. As I taught you, the radio is even in the cell phone or is even in the telephone. But actually, some telephones even have games, but they're they're just like it's not easy to play those games because those games are actually quite hard to play, and because there are only 2 of these in this world now, because this is the common world, so people don't share them, such as when they want to play games in them, people usually, hey, it's mine, no, it's mine, no, it's mine. They just don't share the phone because they see the technique is so high priced. Actually, it's low priced, it's a very dumb one, and the games inside it is very hard to play. It's actually a dumb one. So now, as you know, let's just I want to tell you something. Why? I want to tell you about these great inventions. We have the bike in 1870, we had the telephone and the bike in 1870 to help us move around quickly. We have the telephone to help us communicate, just like we can communicate with your friend Tom. If you are me, for example, and your friend is Peter, then you can call your friend and talk to your friend using the cell phone or telephone. This is a pretty long time ago, so I think now it doesn't really exist. But it does. In some music classes, you can see those type of telephones hanging on the walls. Even at school, just like if you go to IBS school, then you'll be able to see these types of telephones, more techniques on the walls. And we have this handmade computer. This computer is, I don't know who made it, but I also know it's a very good technique, and then it uses technology. Technology is something that helps you solve problems, helps you move around, and helps you to communicate, helps you stay safe. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson about technology, what is technology, what it can do about solving problems, staying safe, inventions such as computers in the 1946, we have telephones in the 1876, and we have bikes in the 1870s. So now, see you. Gosh.